Y'all, if someone tells me the ghost of Biggie's mom is what's haunting Diddy right now, I'm dead serious. I'm believing it. Cause what's this thing I'm hearing from Gene Deal that Diddy allegedly took all of Biggie's royalties after his death, which may have played a role in Biggie's mom's passing? That's not all, cause word on the street is that Diddy planned to possess everything and be the greatest in the Bad Boy label, so he masterminded the whole situation that led to Biggie's death. From allegedly orchestrating Tupac's death, fueling the dispute between the West Coast and East Coast gangs, to taking Biggie to a city where his rivals were, where he was ultimately shot. Honestly, I've heard some parts of this story before, which I thought was a reach, but the way the dots are connecting now is just wild. So let's get into it. The word about Diddy being the person behind Tupac Shakur and Biggie's death has been on the internet for a hot minute now. There was a time when the police investigated this former gang member, Keith Davis, who was connected to Diddy's circle. During the investigation, Davis was asked if Diddy had a hand in Pac's death. He said, yes, yeah, I think he did. He said Diddy was afraid of Suge Knight, who owned a rival record label. Then he said Diddy offered him the sum of $1 million for a hit on Tupac Shakur. Now, this isn't far-fetched from what Gene Deal has been hinting for a while now. And the crazy part that's got jaws dropping? Diddy doesn't achieve these things ordinarily. Gene Deal said Diddy is a sorcerer, and that he watched Diddy throw a dove into the sky and it fell straight to the ground.
Puff is in the situation he's in right now because he had what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that self-fulfilling prophecy was to be the greatest on his label, which he was. And which he said, no one could be bigger than me on Bad Boy label. When he said, and for the sake of the internet, I'm not going to use profanity. I don't give a F if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or should not go to jail. When he said that, that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Say it in thy mouth, believe it in thy heart, and it shall happen. And it happened. I've seen people pray over him, do sacrilegious things, and he goes to throw a dove and the dove fall down to the ground. And I look at this and I say to myself, this shit is bigger than, this shit is crazy.
Now, we know Pac and Biggie were the biggest hip-hop stars at that time, and for that reason, Diddy had to take them out, allegedly. First, it was Pac. They said after he successfully took out Pac by putting a bounty on his head. Biggie was next. But word is, he did it in the slickest way. And here's how. Knowing that the rift became a West Coast, East Coast, they said Diddy intentionally took Biggie to the West Coast for a musical project where his rivals were. But come to think of it, friends, Diddy has got to be asked some serious questions. I mean, there were so many options. There was the Daddy's house in New Jersey where Biggie would have recorded the project. And let me tell y'all, with Diddy's status and position, he has access to any kind of studio and any place he wants. So why choose LA where his ops were? So y'all see why Diddy has been appearing sus as hell. Well, that day came when the Bad Boy Records crew went to a party Gene Deal said he warned everyone about. According to Gene Deal, he told them that they shouldn't go because he felt someone was going to be unalive, but they didn't listen. He said Diddy had bodyguards around him that made sure that he was prevented from being shot, but the bodyguards with Biggie didn't do anything in their power to protect Biggie.
If we leave your Puff, somebody gonna come to this place and try to kill us tonight. Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. If you don't want to go, you ain't gotta go. Went out, told Big the same thing. Yo, Big, somebody gonna try to kill us tonight. I said this 1,000 times. Little C said, go ahead on with that cop shit, Gene. You think you know everything. When he said that, that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Say it in thy mouth, believe it in thy heart, and it shall happen. And it happened. I've seen people pray over him, do sacrilegious things, and he goes to throw a dove and the dove fall down to the ground. And I look at this and I say to myself, it's bigger than It's crazy.
So y'all, from the story so far, what people are saying at this point is that Diddy manipulated both Pac and Biggie's death just so he could be on top of the game. Cause if we look deeper, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls were not even coming for each other physically. Folks believe they didn't deserve to die. But because Diddy had a selfish interest, he allegedly used the West Coast and East Coast feud to add fuel to the fire just so he could get what he wanted. Crazy. Now, Gene Deal says after Biggie died, Biggie's mom would have sued Puff for not having proper security over her son, despite knowing that there was a fight between West Coast and the East Coast. But here's the thing, Diddy straight up denied that, claiming he didn't know of any beef going on at the time.
I think that way back then, because of Arista Records and Bad Boy, knowing that there was threats, and you heard Puff lie a couple of times in the past. I didn't know, nobody told us, we was just young, you knew.
Well, it turns out that Biggie's mom fell sick and recently passed on. Gene Deal said he's sure she did not only die from natural causes, but also the disheartening death of her son contributed to her death. He further said she probably didn't want to see another anniversary of her son's death, because Biggie died on the 9th of March, while his mom passed on the 23rd of February this year, just 2 weeks from Biggie's death date. Here's where it gets even more crazy. While the poor woman was still alive and in her sickbed, Diddy allegedly sent 2 of his boys, Wayne Barrow and Mark Pitts, to start working out deals on selling Biggie's publishing and marketing rights. Allegedly, the deal was not for Biggie's mom, not for his kids or any family relation, but for Diddy himself. Gene Deal said he guessed it paid off because now they're looking at getting $100 million to $150 million on the whole thing.
You know, she may have been sick, but she probably died of a broken heart, bruh. She probably died of a broken heart, man. And she didn't want to see another March 9th. And I just hope God bless her soul.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking to hear, man. You know, her dying without knowing who killed her son. Yeah, that's terrible, man. And I'm hearing that, you know, big catalog, they trying to sell that. You know anything about that?
Yeah. Yo, it is crazy. Because knowing this lady was sick and she was in hospice, bruh. These guys, Wayne Barrows and Mark Pitts, went on and started working out deals, you know, to allegedly sell Big's publishing, his marketing, all his rights to everything Notorious Big.
Y'all, if what Gene Deal is saying is true, then this is just wickedness at its peak. To the majority of folks, it has even made it more believable that Diddy planned Biggie's death. And who knows, the unending thought of Biggie's mom towards all these things could be the reason why she passed. Cause how can you take your child to a territory where your opponents are? We are talking about her only child, her pride, and an icon. On top of that, exploiting her son's hard work while she's still sick in bed, it's just insane. And wait, y'all, did she also find out that her son's royalties had been stolen and then gave up the ghost? Mind you, I ain't the one saying all this, but Gene Deal and other people on the internet. Just like this user who said, Mrs. Wallace carried a lot of pain. Hopefully she will see Biggie again. Rest in peace. Another user talked about the rift between the East Coast and the West Coast that shouldn't have had Tupac and Biggie as victims. The user said, Biggie's mom was the real victim of the whole East Coast-West Coast war. Her and Afeni Shakur didn't deserve to have to bury their children. And about Diddy selling Biggie's marketing and publishing rights to himself, this user said, Puff got Big because he wanted his masters to all his music. He didn't want Big to leave Bad Boy. He wanted to make as much money as he could off Big. That's why he got paid millions when Big was dead. But y'all, what is your take on this whole situation? Do y'all think Diddy planned Biggie Smalls' death? Did Diddy really sell Biggie's catalog for his own gain? And did all these factors contribute to the death of Biggie's mom? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'ma catch y'all on the flip side.